Every NCAA college football season is a quest for excellence, for supremacy. And over the years, great teams have seen their efforts symbolically rewarded by such recognition as the National Football Foundation's treasured MacArthur Ball. On gridirons all across America, hopes were high as ABC began its most ambitious coverage of NCAA action. Penn State's Joe Paterno started his sideline pacing early as his formidable Nittany Lions opened their schedule against Stanford and proceeded to whip the Cardinals. They were predicting a big year for star running back John Cappelletti, and he delivered. With this first touchdown in a season that would eventually win him the Heisman Trophy, Cappelletti sparked Penn State to a decisive 20-6 win. Anytime North Carolina meets North Carolina State, it's a toss-up. This year was no exception. One of the Bucky twins, Dave, passed to Pat Hovance for a touchdown in a 28-26 squeaker, and North Carolina State topped the Atlantic Coast Conference. In the Battle of the Bands, Brigham Young was evenly matched with Arizona State, but after that, it was no contest. Arizona State's quarterback, Danny White, bootlegs the ball, then throws 50 yards in the air to Morris Owens, who has no trouble taking it in for a touchdown. A picture play that typifies the Sun Devils' explosive offense. The final score says it all. In the confines of the Cotton Bowl, the eyes of Texas were on an aroused Southern Methodist team that dominated the early action. Alvin Maxson takes a handoff, breaks through the middle, cuts neatly, and goes 67 yards, but Southern Methodist ahead at halftime, 14-0. But All-American Roosevelt Leak outruns the camera and the defense as Texas storms back to win 42-14. The action built to the big weekend when incredibly ABC covered 9 of the 10 top-ranked teams. Appropriately for Thanksgiving, it began with drumsticks as Notre Dame hosted the Air Force. Irish quarterback Tom Clements pitches out to Eric Pennick, who breaks the tackle and goes into the end zone, where our ABC cameraman gets a real tight close-up. Notre Dame won big, 48-15. In the second half of the Thanksgiving doubleheader, the Louisiana State Tiger kicked up his heels at the coin toss, but Alabama did all the stalking. In this action, Jerry Rutledge, Bama's great junior quarterback, fakes a handoff, then passes to split end Wayne Wheeler, who catches it near midfield. The man covering him pulls up lane, and Wheeler goes all the way without a hand being laid on him as the Crimson Tide rolls to a 21-7 victory. On Friday, the big weekend, Nebraska came to Norman, Oklahoma, intent on fixing the Sooners' wagon. But they had to cope with the likes of Joe Washington, who showed his elusive style of running with this great punt return in the first quarter. And when Oklahoma's Steve Davis pulled a quarterback sneak and rambled 47 yards for a touchdown, it was clearly Oklahoma's game. Final score, 27-0. The next day, Michigan rooters flipped the prospect of an upset over Ohio State. Both were undefeated, but Woody Hayes' team was a slight favorite, due in a large part to their sensational sophomore running back, Archie Griffin. This typical Griffin gallop set up a field goal for the first score. The Buckeyes added a touchdown and led 10-0 at the half. But after a fourth quarter field goal, Michigan's Dennis Franklin faked to Shuttleworth and rolled around right end to tie it up. In a way, this play symbolizes both teams' frustration and the post-game controversy that raged for days. The Big Ten committee batted it back and forth before finally picking Ohio State to go to the Rose Bowl despite the inconclusive 10-10 final score. UCLA's aim was clear in their climactic big weekend game on ABC, though the Bruins only needed a tie to get the Rose Bowl bid. But the first two times Southern California had the ball, they went all the way. Their second drive topped off by this Anthony Davis sweep for a touchdown, and the Trojans rode off with a 23-13 win. A football season isn't all championship aspiration. ABC's coverage captures the fun and high spirits of the game players and spectators alike. And all the action doesn't necessarily happen on the field. While all this was going on, ABC was also covering the Notre Dame win over their fellow Hoosiers from Purdue. As well as the Notre Dame victory over last year's national champions, USC, despite the efforts of Southern California's Anthony Davis. And the ABC cameras caught Alabama beating a tough Tennessee squad, 42-21. And trouncing their traditional rival Auburn, 35-0. So the ABC viewer had numerous opportunities to appreciate the awesome power represented here by Wilbur Jackson of Alabama and Notre Dame's Eric Penning, as both teams averaged over 460 yards total offense per game and raced to undefeated, untied seasons. The two Titans finally collided in the dream game of the year at the Sugar Bowl, with Bear Bryant and Ara Parsegan aware that the national championship was on the line. Notre Dame jumped out to an early lead. This pass from Tom Clements to split end Keith Emerly netted 26 yards to sustain a long drive. Fullback Wayne Bullock went over left guard for the score. But the snap was fumbled on the point-after conversion attempt. And the Irish had to settle for 6. Jerry Rutledge, alternating quarterback with Dick Todd, trying to get Alabama going. Randy Billingsley pulls it over. The point after is made, and Alabama forges ahead. That lasts exactly 13 seconds, the time it takes for freshman Al Hunter to receive the ensuing kickoff, give a beautiful shoulder fake, cut to the sideline, and ramble 93 yards for a touchdown. This time, Notre Dame goes for the two-pointer. Clements lost a beautiful pass to Demerley in the corner of the end zone. The Irish are back on top 14-7. In the last 2 minutes of the second quarter, this Todd pitch out to Jackson nets Alabama a big gain. It sets up a field goal attempt by Bill Davis, a long 39-yarder. That makes it. And it's Notre Dame 14-10 at halftime. During the colorful halftime festivities, both teams were primed to renew the battle. Alabama certainly came out all fired up. This Rutledge pass to Jackson moved the Crimson Tide all the way down to the Notre Dame 18. It was part of a 93-yard march. And the payoff came 3 plays later, as Jackson scored, though he had to take a really hard shot as he makes it into pay dirt. Davis converts, and now it's Alabama on top again. But later in the third quarter, there's an Alabama fumble on a handoff. It's picked off in midair by Notre Dame's alert linebacker Drew Mahaley, who returns it to the Alabama 12. The Irish strike quickly. On the next play, Pennock, behind the incredible blocking of All-American tight end Dave Casper, rolls in. Once again, the lead changes hands. Bama bounces back. Mike Stock takes the handoff from Todd as the action flows right. Suddenly, Stock passes to Todd, all alone in the left flat. Touchdown, Alabama. This time a high snap is costly on the point after attempt. The official signal's no good, and with 10 minutes remaining, Alabama must defend a slim 23-21 lead. That's more than enough time for the Irish. Clements mixes his running attack with this pass play to Casper, and the Irish end makes a great catch in heavy traffic. When the Alabama defense stiffens, the pressure is on kicker Bob Thomas. But he gets it through the upright, and for the 7th time, the lead has changed hands. Little more than 3 minutes remain to play, and Alabama's forced to kick on 4th and long yardage. In their zeal, Notre Dame roughs the kicker, and Bear Bryant has a tough decision. Because of the penalty, it's now 4th down and 5. Meanwhile, the kicker's been down on the Notre Dame 1-yard line. Declining the penalty, Alabama gambles on keeping Notre Dame pinned to their goal line. But the Irish gamble right back. On a crucial 3rd down and risking a fatal safety, Clements passes long from behind his goal line. It's right on target to young second-string sophomore end Robin Weber. And the gutsy call pays off for 35 big yards. Weber's jubilation is understandable. He and his teammates know they can now run out the clock, that the tide has turned irrevocably against the Crimson Tide. And the Alabama Rooters know it too. A Notre Dame player thoughtfully pays his respects to Bear Bryant with sportsmanship typical of NCAA competition. Ara Parsegan, mouth of the delirious Notre Dame Rooters, enjoys the sweet taste of victory. A great game has produced a true national champion, a worthy addition to the previous winners of the MacArthur Bowl. Pete Axhelm of Newsweek called college football more exciting and entertaining than the pro game. And next year's crop of stars like Tony Dorsett of Pitt supports that view. Ohio State's Archie Griffin, the first sophomore ever voted most valuable player in Big Ten history, will be back. In his senior year at USC, Anthony Davis figures to go out in a blaze of glory. Texas is touting Roosevelt Leak for Heisman Trophy consideration. Tom Clements, Notre Dame's brilliant passer, is also one of the best running quarterbacks on the college scene, and there is a wealth of other talent. It shapes up as a great season ahead, guaranteed to deliver exciting action. This is Chris Schenkel inviting you to share another Quest for Excellence, NCAA football on ABC.